My name is Stephanie Scott. I'm the co-owner and executive program director for Simple Surrogacy and Simple Donations in Dallas, Texas. We've been in business for about 10 years straight now. We've had a little over 260 babies born through our program to date. I'm the mother of 3. Could not imagine my life without my children. That's one of the reasons that I'm in surrogacy in general. I became a surrogate mother in 2004. Carried a little girl for a couple in Rhode Island, and she is almost 9 now. So I decided that after meeting with a lot of other surrogates and intended parents when I was a surrogate, there weren't a lot of options out there back then about different agencies, lower costs, more services. So I decided to start one on my own. My partner Kristen and I have been able to reduce cost compared to other agencies that have been in business as long as us by about 40%. Right now, the average cost through our agency for surrogacy and egg donation is between $85,000 and $95,000. That's with everything from your medical, your legal, surrogate compensation, donor compensation, screening, and some incidentals that go on top of that. And we do include a twin fee in that because a lot of our babies are twins. Just last year we had about 22 sets of twins out of about 40 births. So we do pride ourselves on personal attention. When you join our agency, you would be talking to me mainly the entire journey. I know all of our intended parents. I'm the one who screens everybody. I'm the one who matches everybody. Not only with your surrogate, but your donor as well. I coordinate the entire medical process, making sure that your surrogate and donor are going to all their medical appointments, that they have their medications, that they're using them properly. We do have a clinic coordinator on staff who is a registered nurse. We also have a medical assistant on staff that can teach injections and just making sure that your surrogates are doing what they need to do. All of our surrogates are screened. We do criminal background checks, address verification. We also check employment. We do medical records, background on them, making sure that all of their pregnancy and deliveries have been uncomplicated, full term. We do not accept surrogates that have gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, preterm deliveries. We want the best possible outcome for your baby, so if they do not have pristine pregnancies, we don't even accept them into the program. Let's see, we are a full service agency. We handle all the legal as long as it is in Texas. We will coordinate the legal if you're matched outside of Texas, but our attorney is only licensed to practice in Texas. So we do a legal included program for all of our clients, which will allow you to get a gestational surrogacy contract with your surrogate for $2,200. With comparable attorneys, you're looking at about $3,500 to $4,500. Now, the legal aspects for intended parents from Israel, you've got 2 options. You can match in a state where only one of you is on the birth certificate and do a second parent adoption here in Israel when you return, or you can get both of your names on the birth certificate in the States. Just depends on what state you're doing it in. Texas only allows 1 man on the birth certificate, so you would have to return here to get the other one put on. In states like California, Illinois, Maryland, Florida, we can allow 2 men on a birth certificate. So it just really depends on where your perfect surrogate is and who you decide to match with. We don't do any forced matching, so when you match with a surrogate through our program, you're filling out a profile that outlines basically what you're looking for in a surrogate, how much contact you want with her before, during, and after the pregnancy. It's about 25 pages long. It goes over her entire medical history, her personality, her husband if she has one, all of her births, her education. It's very, very detailed. So this gives you a glimpse into who she is. You'll see a lot of pictures of her. You'll see pictures of her home inside and out, so you know what kind of living conditions she has. So once you get that profile, you would look it over. You would let me know, I like her, or maybe I want to look at a couple of more, and then we would move on to another one. If you do like her, then your profile automatically goes out to that surrogate. And you're filling out a profile just like she is, where you're telling me, what's your personality, what your, favorite things to do are, you know, I want to try and make a match that this is going to be somebody you're going to spending about a year with, sometimes a little bit longer. So you need to be able to talk to her. You don't want to have to go through the agency for everything, you know. If there's something going on and you feel that you need somebody involved and, you know, you think she's not taking prenatal vitamins or something like that, that's when you call the agency. But everything else, you want to be able to have a good relationship with her and be open, you know, to talking with her about how she's doing, how she's feeling, what she's eating, you know, what's going on in her life at the time. So it's really, really important to get a good match from the beginning. We do have a lot of surrogates available through our program. I've been a surrogate myself, so I go to all of the surrogate get-togethers. I network, you know, a lot of the women know me throughout the United States. So they do tend to come to me when they're wanting to be matched. Just because I understand what they're doing, you know, I understand what they're going through, I understand what surrogates want, and some of the other agencies, you know, that are run by like attorneys and medical doctors don't get the personal aspect of being a surrogate, so the surrogates tend to stray away from them. Right now we have 138 surrogates available through our program. They're in states like California, Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, Connecticut. They're all over the place. So our matching times right now are about a week. So pretty good. Some other agencies, it's anywhere between 6 months to a year. It's very, very hard to match sometimes, but all of our surrogates are, they're very good women. We've got a lot of registered nurses that are surrogates, you know, so they take very good care of themselves. All of our surrogates have had at least one child of their own. They had to, you know, have custody of that child, delivered it full term. You get to meet your surrogate from the very first time that, you know, you get a profile. That's the first thing that we do. You meet your surrogate in person, you go out to dinner with her family, get to know her a little bit, and then you let me know, you know, yes, I'd like to move forward with her. And then if you do, we would arrange for you both to get your screening completed with the medical clinic. One of the clinics that we meet with, or that we work with on a regular basis, is Fort Worth Fertility. It's Dr. Robert Kaufman, and he is here today doing breakout sessions. So I would definitely look into him. We have a 95% success rate on first embryo transfers with his clinic, with using donor eggs. So it is very, very rare that we have a failed transfer at his clinic. Like I said, the fees through our program, you're looking at anywhere between $85,000 to $95,000 total. That is broken up over the course of the pregnancy. You would be paying your medical fees directly to the clinic that you're going to be working with. Your legal fees, if matched in Texas, would be going directly to Simple Surrogacy to pay our attorney. And if you're matched outside of Texas, then you would be paying your legal attorney separate. And we, of course, would refer you to attorneys, clinics, anything that you needed throughout the process. Let's see.
Does it include egg?
I'm sorry, what?
Does it include egg donation?
Yes, it does. We do have a egg donation company at Simple Donations. The database is open for you anytime you want to go on there. You can start reviewing donors at no charge. So you just go to simpledonations.com, click on the database, register as an intended parent, and that'll give you full access to all of our donor profiles. We have about 1,500 donors available through our program right now. They're, you know, very educated women. We do look for them at colleges. So a lot of them are in college, some of them have just graduated, some of them are just starting out. We also have stay-at-home moms, working women. We only accept donors from the age of 21 to 30. We do not go over 30 because the equality tends to go down at that time. So we're looking for young women, but also responsible women who are going to move forward with the process and ultimately do an egg retrieval.
And they're all Americans?
Some of them are and some of them are not. I mean, they all have to be U.S. citizens or citizens of Canada. But we do have a lot of Jewish donors. We've got Indian donors. You know, they're all over the map.
There is a different pricing depending on the egg origin? No,
we do not do that. They all get paid the same if they are an inexperienced donor. Their starting compensation is $5,500 US. If they're an experienced donor, it's anywhere between about $7,000 US and $10,000 US, depending on how many donations they've done. One of the things that we do make sure of is that If they have done a donation, that we check with the medical clinic that did the donation. We know how many eggs were retrieved, what the quality of those eggs are, what grade they were given, and if a pregnancy was achieved out of them. So we don't let them go up in compensation unless we know a child was born from that donation. Do you have any other questions?
Regarding the cycles, price you mentioned, 85 to 95, how many cycles would it include?
That would generally include one cycle. With Dr. Kaufman, he's very good, like I said. I mean, it's usually we don't get to 2 cycles, but if it did, you're not paying the whole 85 to 95,000 over again. You would only be paying for a frozen embryo transfer at that point, which is about $6,000. Anybody else?
You said basically your base is in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
What is the percentage of your surrogate mothers in Texas?
I want to say it's about 60% in Texas and the rest are outside of Texas.
And what about, I know that in some states in the US you have a problem with different surrogacy laws up to the point if someone crosses, interstate border, the law can change completely.
We do not allow any of our surrogates to move. Once you're matched with them, they have to stay in the state that you've got a legal contract with them in. Yeah, and that's part of our surrogacy agreement with them. Not only do they have to sign a surrogacy agreement with us, just as the agency, they also have to sign a surrogacy agreement with you. And they both state that they are not allowed to move during the process. Because once you start the legal has to end there. When the baby is born, let's say if your baby was born in California, you're getting a pre-birth order to put both of your names on the birth certificate, if you're a married couple or partnered couple. So we need her to stay in that state and deliver in that state in order for that court order to go into effect. If she were to move to, let's say, Arizona, you would end up having to adopt the baby if you're a partnered couple. If you're just a single intended father, your name goes on the birth certificate automatically and we take the surrogate mother off with a relinquishment of parental rights. Texas tends to have a lot of insurance companies with no surrogacy exclusions. So a lot of people match in Texas just because of that. It saves anywhere between $15,000 to sometimes $50,000 on the cost of medical care. That's just for the pregnancy. Now, if the surrogate does not have insurance and she lives in Texas, we can pick up a policy that will cover her pregnancy and delivery. Our surrogate mothers will allow the baby to be placed on their insurance when the baby is born for up to 30 days. So if the baby is born prematurely, let's say you have a twin pregnancy, the babies are born at 33 weeks, we've got a little bit of a NICU stay in the hospital. If the baby is born under a certain amount of grams in the United States, the baby is automatically placed on Medicaid. That's just something all the hospital does because nobody is going to be able to afford $1 million in medical care on a baby. It just doesn't happen. You also have the option of picking a New Life or Lloyd's of London policy to cover your newborn. We don't use them very often. They're very, very costly. I think the premium alone on it is about $12,000. And it's about a $15,000 deductible for a singleton, $30,000 deductible for twins. So it's really not worth it. You can do a cash pay price. If your baby is born full term, 38, 40 weeks, you're only looking at a 2-day hospital stay before the baby's discharged, and you can pay the doctor, the pediatrician directly for about $2,500 to $3,500. But like I said, most of our surrogates will allow the babies to go on the insurance, but it also is up to the surrogate. That's something that we discussed in the matching process. So we don't, sneak attack the surrogate and say, I know you just gave birth, will you allow the baby to be put on the insurance? That's all discussed before you even match with her.
From your experience, what do most of the surrogates prefer as an arrangement with the parents after the birth? In terms of
relationship,
and there are a couple of days where the baby stays to get the milk, or
as a surrogate myself, these are not women that are going to try and jump out the window with your baby in the hospital. We have had our children, that's why we're surrogates. We like being pregnant, but we definitely do not want sleepless nights and crying babies and all of that because we've already been there and done it. With my intended parents, I wanted them to check on me, and and know that they were thinking about the pregnancy and they were excited about it. I mean, that's the biggest thing about being a surrogate is you need somebody to share it with as the surrogate. You don't want this to feel like your own pregnancy because then it becomes way too personal. You're out shopping for the baby, and that's when you have problems with surrogates who, you know, don't feel so great after the delivery and, you know, and are sad. And we don't want that. We want the surrogates to be happy. So we want you to have a good relationship with them. When you're here in Israel and your surrogates in the States, we expect you to keep in contact with them at least twice a week. Whether it be a text message or an email or Skype, something, you have to keep in touch with them. And we don't expect you to, you know, get on the phone with them and go, how are you feeling every time you talk to them? You know, talk about what's going on in your lives. Ask them what's going on in their lives. You know, their kids' activities, what they did at work that day, you know, something like that. It goes a long way to build a relationship with a surrogate. You want the best outcome from this baby, and the best outcome is going to be with a surrogate who's relaxed, feels good about, you know, who she's doing this for. She's got intended parents who are very excited, who want to hear the heartbeat for the first time, who want to come for the ultrasounds. We don't expect you to come out to, you know, wherever your surrogate is living every month. I mean, that's pretty impossible for just about anybody. But we do have requirements on intended parents who are international that you come 3 times over the course of the surrogacy. The first is to meet your surrogate, have your medical screening. The second is for the 20-week ultrasound, where you get to see the sex of the baby if you want to know it, hear the heartbeat for the first time, and also for delivery, which we require you to be in the States 2 weeks before the due date.